Good morning, everybody. So here we are. It is 8:05 on a Friday. Friday. So tonight, me and my wife, she has a big show today. She does like contests and stuff, and it's a big fun day for everybody on her thing that she does. And and so that's always fun because I can hear them sort of getting all excited and stuff downstairs. Um, for me, it's pretty exciting. I have a story that I'm about ready to push into PR, and then I have a very, very complex story that I have to try to figure out. And so it should be a very interesting day for me. Um, Probably not a lot of drama, which is always nice. I do have a little drama here in that my somehow yesterday at the end of the day I broke my application. It's all broken. So that was the first thing. I was just like, "What? Why?" And then obviously of course, the HMR has been enabled. If you, I don't know, that is very distracting. I don't. Obviously, it didn't matter. The application bundled, saying, "Hey, I didn't know what to expect." So first thing I thought is, "What is something wrong with the testing?" But then I was just like, "Wait, that's not in the spec." So at some point yesterday, probably right at the end of the show, I put an expect in a weird place. So let's hold down the or control button and click on this and go here and say, "Oh yeah, what are you doing there? You're not supposed to be there." So let's get you out of here. Save it. Hopefully that fixes everything. All our problems have gone. Yep, looks like that fixed everything. And I'm guessing I wanted that someplace else. And my best guess would be that I wanted it in the render service spec. And I don't know why this isn't in the right place, but I've found that if you leave and then you come back, it puts you right where you are. So that's nice. Yep. And so I don't have an expect here. So I don't have a renderer. So was there something else in here? Okay, so there are no differences, I don't think, in this file. Renderer service. Let's hope that renderer service. Yeah, see, renderer service QR. Yeah, renderer service itself doesn't have any changes, so thank you, Git. But I don't have a renderer, and I was supposed to have a renderer, and I noticed that I think yesterday I felt like we'd gotten to 100% in here, but now it's saying it's 80%. So I'm guessing I needed to get the render. Well, okay, so I probably didn't have, because I don't think I did this. But I'm guessing for this to work, I need to get a renderer. I must have really been having sort of a confusion yesterday. Equals service, which is the one we're working on. Get renderer by ID. And renderer ID. And it's missing an ER. Let's see what we get here. And I guess what we want to be looking at is this page here. Oh, you didn't get here. Oh, so it's Marty the JavaScript party. It is 8:09 a.m., 65 degrees Fahrenheit. So Microsoft started showing me what I want to see down there. Yeah, who knows why. Rhett is trying to get her almond. So let's go ahead and take care of that. There you go, Rhett. I'm not going to put it on the edge because yesterday she knocked it off and that was awkward. But yeah, so like I said, it's Friday. It's nice. I guess it rained all night, but it looks like it's going to be sunny for the rest of the day. I'm hoping to get a little bit of mowing in, and then that'll be good. Now, yesterday was the NFL draft, and in the NFL draft is a big day for people who like NFL football. And so it was interesting because this morning I was looking at TikTok and I did a search on NFL draft, and I saw probably 15 videos, maybe 20 videos about the NFL draft. And what was weird is half of them said that Shedeur Sanders was drafted number 10 by the New Orleans Saints. And half of them said that he wasn't drafted at all. And they all looked professional. That's weird. That is really, really weird. I mean, that is so strange, you know. So like if somebody was just like in a hurry in the morning and they just watched one video, they might have got completely false. And that was on TikTok. So I don't know. I don't know if Shedeur Sanders got drafted yesterday or not. Like I said, both of them, both sets of videos looked all set in both set. Now, okay, so I probably watched 20 videos and probably 10 of them didn't mention it at all. Okay, so but 5 of them probably like literally showed like, oh, okay, draft number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 10, New Orleans Saints, Shedeur Sanders. And then I saw probably like 5 videos saying, how did Shedeur Sanders fall out of the top 10? That doesn't make any sense. Blah, 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 blah. Why didn't the Steelers take him at 21? Blah, 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 blah. You know, it was like so crazy that I saw like just straight up fake news videos this morning on that, you know. So yeah, I don't know what to think about all that. It is bizarre. But anyways, I'm guessing since the vast majority of people aren't even in the United States, you guys probably like cricket, which I every once in a while I'll see people playing cricket. Not in years, but you know, I'll see people playing cricket on the fields by my house. They're always so nice. They're very, very nice people. And usually they're from India, and they're just playing cricket out there. Yeah, it's fun to watch them do their thing. But anyways, yeah, so we got this working now. The application is no longer broken. That was a weird way to start the day. And we do need to get this set animation function for STID. So STID takes a function which returns nothing and has no arguments. And that's it. So it looks like that's all we need to do. I don't know what we would search for other than like I get this get renderer. So we're gonna have to set that. So I guess we'll get that ID and see that it's still truthy. I think that's all we'll be able to do. There's just it doesn't. So this is a very unit testable function, right? You can execute it very easily for unit test, but doesn't really have anything that you can check. I don't think, but maybe we'll grow. You know, maybe because I was thinking of that this morning. It was just like when I first started unit tests, it was like, oh, I want 100% coverage. Then all of a sudden that wasn't good enough. Now I want 100% coverage, but I want every suite to get 100% of whatever it's the suite of. So next we'll be like, well, no, I want probably like maybe, the next time we go through one of these rounds of unit testing, it'll be like, okay, that's not good enough. I want 100% coverage. I want every suite to do 100% coverage, and I want to actually test for something in that test. Like I want a very, very specific thing. If there's nothing, and there's really no reason for this function here to have something that you can test other than for unit testing. So that's weird, but we've kind of come up with a nice little process, and the first step of the process is to create a test, which another name for a test is a specification, and we call them specs for short, and we use the it function to create a test. And then we want to give it the first argument, and it's the only required argument is to give it a name. And this is probably many times the hardest part of a unit test. Not always. Sometimes it's the easiest part or a very easy part. But we want to test that it sets the animation function. Should set the animation function of the render. Now, we're not actually going to test that. All we're literally going to do is run it and assume that since it successfully ran, that it did what it was supposed to do. So clearly, that probably might leave you with a bit of a bad feeling. I don't blame you, but you know, at this point, that's where we're at. Maybe in the future we'll get a little bit more, but we're gonna create our own renderer ID. And I know that when you copy and paste, like 9 times out of 10, when I copy and paste, I'm like, okay, this is not what I want to be doing because of the whole do not repeat yourself concept. That's a great concept. I do not believe at this point in this stage, I do not believe that dry applies to unit tests. I think unit tests probably shouldn't even be dry. Being dry is probably probably an anti-pattern in unit tests. Maybe not. I don't know. I've been wrong before. Okay, so I know in order to be able to actually create a renderer. Oh, actually, so I have my renderer. So now I can create a function. Const. I'm just going to call it mock function. Equals, and it's just going to be a function void. Can I do that? Yes, so. I guess I've just created a function. No, it doesn't look like I can do that because see what our error is. Expected a dot. Okay. So I would have thought that would return a void. Const function. See, I think that is basically the same thing. It's going to return nothing. And then, so I can say, service dot set animation function, render ID, mock function. Hit save and hope nothing breaks. Fingers crossed. Oh, I'm on the wrong. It ran. Now we had a total of 5. We have a warning that has no expectations, that we have one that has no expectation. When we hit reload here, we have 100%. So we are golden. And so now I think all I could do is const render basically this. And hit save. Now maybe like on the next round, I'll find out that, man, life would be so much easier if I just had a function up here that I called that did this, since it seems to be something that I do almost every single time. But, for now we're not. So now that went away. So now we'll hit describe. We'll get rid of this focus and see if nothing breaks, which I have mentioned that I have definitely seen things break when everything was fine, and then once you remove the focus from something else broke. I don't think we'll have that problem, but we'll see. Move. So we have some logs. A lot of times people don't like this. I don't know. I don't really know why this is happening. It would be probably interesting at some point to sit down and figure that out. But right now we are hitting 100% everywhere, and we are doing 50 of 50. We'll go to all false, and this is the one we just did, and that looks good. So now we're going to do scene, and I think yesterday we kind of went over scene, and we were like, oh, scene is going to be trivial. And scene may already be done. There's no telling. Nope. Yeah. Nope. Scene is not done. So we'll hit F describe here. And I just don't even know. I don't know if this is something that is a good idea or a bad idea. And for some reason it didn't decide not to auto update this time. I don't know what what the secret sauce of why it auto updates sometimes and why it doesn't. But see, this gate would give a false positive. If you weren't paying attention down here, you would think, oh, okay, it ran, but it didn't. So now we come down here, we kill it, we run it again. And we just wait for this to finish. That's done. Hit reload. Still not updated. Basically, it launched a new window up here. So it ran one spec. Now this should be uploaded. Yep. So like it would be very easy to be like at that point to have said, oh, okay, cool, I made my 100% commit it, and then just be shocked when you found out that it didn't, because it didn't ever update it. And then once we hit save, it kind of looked like it was done. Everything launched, and we hit reload, and then we hit reload, and it still said 100%. So it would have been easy to think, oh, okay, it's 100%. And then we had to wait a little bit, and then we hit reload, and it wasn't 100%. And that's kind of a bummer, the way that works. But it should create a scene, will be our first one. And it looks like we'll also need to add a mesh to a scene. So our second test is going to be it, and we're going to give it the description of should create a ThreeJS scene. And we actually know how to like effectively test these, right? So we can go like this. We'll give it our assertion, aka our callback. And then we're going to say const scene ID. And that is equal to 1. And then we're going to say service dot create scene. And we're going to give it a scene ID. And then we're going to say const scene. We are not importing ThreeJS, so we're getting a lot more efficient at this. It used to take a while to be like, okay, I'm going to try to do this, and we know that this is a 3 scene, so we'll copy that, and we're going to say this equals, and then it's service dot get scene by ID, and that is scene ID. We're going to run that. Watch this thing. I really don't know why at some points. It's going to be interesting. I'm just going to keep saying it, but I don't know why sometimes we get like an actual visualization, sometimes we don't. I would definitely love to understand that. So at some point, I know, Rhett, I know allergies are rough this time of year. And then you can see how much we must cough, because she's gotten really good at mimicking a cough. All right, so that is good. We're at 100%. So basically, I think all we want to do is see that the scene is truthy. So expect. I can't. What is this? That doesn't give us a good gesture. Create expectation. It's an expectation, but it is a test. And down here it says has no expectation. So this, I guess that is. So we're going to expect scene to be. And so I think one of the things that's kind of like, I think when on the ST side, since we sort of own that data structure, we can like we could be like, oh, make sure that the scene IDs are aligned or something like that. But on this side, this is a 3 object. We don't really have control over things, in there. I think all the 3 objects have like a description or something. So I guess we could set the scene dot description. Oh, so it does have this user data thing that we could probably add something to that. And then maybe we probably do not want to mess with this ID. Background. So I could see us updating the user data, right? User data. Let's mouse over and see what it says about it. An object that can be used to store custom data about. Yeah, so we could say like in here when we create the scene, we could probably this scene dot user data what is this thing called, STID, and add that in there, and then we could probably we could run that in expectation that it's there, so we can make sure that it ran. But and maybe we'll do that in the future. You know, I kind of just thought of that just now. I just had an idea in my head, and that might be something we might do in the future. It is definitely now in the toolbox, so maybe if we want to persist some sort of data across these ThreeJS things, maybe we will start using that user data. That's obviously what it's for. Okay, so the next thing we want to be able to add a mesh to the scene. What are we? 8:27. Oh, my sleep is finally straightened out. So should add a mesh to a scene. And we are trying to add a ThreeJS mesh. So I'm just going to do that. I've been doing that lately. So we're slowly evolving, getting better at this, to a ThreeJS scene. I always want to put a period at the end of those. Okay, so that is our description. And these things always typically have a semicolon at the end there. And this is the assertion, aka callback. And our callback is, first thing we're going to do is create a scene. So we're going to, let's create a scene. Do we need the scene? We do not need the scene. We just need the ID. And then, see, at this point, it probably would be like it would be very tempting to go into ThreeJS, like inspect ThreeJS and find our mesh in there. But the problem is that then we're testing ThreeJS, and we don't want our test to fail unless we're depending on that. Like if we wrote some dependency code that depended on being able to find the actual ThreeJS thing directly, but like if we're not depending on that, we shouldn't write unit tests for that. We should only write unit tests for things that behaviors, third-party behaviors that we are counting on. But if we're counting on some subtle change not happening, because even if it is a ThreeJS behavior that we're counting on, and they just, like, let's say they just got rid of the whole function, well, then the TypeScript compiler would find that. So anyways, so now we want to create a const a mesh, right? A ThreeJS mesh. So mesh colon. I think I can just do this now. Mesh is equal to new. I swear one of the most embarrassing videos I ever did was one where I just keep going on and on about how, like, oh my God, every single time this name here is the same as this. That's so amazing. And I just kept freaking, I mean, I was glowing with how impressive that is. And then I found out, no, that's actually that is a default behavior that you actually could not make that not happen. I don't think so. That was really embarrassing. It's just sort of, sometimes you think you know something and you don't. So now we want to add our mesh to the scene. We are going to add mesh to scene. I feel like that at the beginning of doing unit tests, this would have taken 45 minutes. And now we're just like, just do it. You just talk through it. Just do it. And not only can we just do it, but we can actually talk about doing it, which I think is like so important. Okay, so at this point, we should have 100% coverage. Let me do this. Const added ID equals. And hit save. And I want to see 100% coverage here. What? Okay. There we go. So, and then we should have a complaint. Has no expectation. And now we can fix that. Or we're just going to say expect. Edit ID to equal. I mean, we know something is really, if this doesn't happen, something has really broken at the foundational level. And boom. And now we get rid of our F, our focus, describe. We reload. And we get rid of that. And now scenes. So we're down here. So that was good. And we're still at 100%. Everything works. And we are moving to utilities. And there's 2 utilities. So that's like doing your taxes when you think, oh, okay, I'm all done. And then you click in there and you're like, oh, crap. I have to fill out a whole different form that's got 500 different things to fill out. So we came in here and we found out there's actually 2 of these things. So hash service. So hash service gets called 6 times, but what happens if... So I guess we're done. So congratulations, we are done with this section. And we are in here. Hash service spec. We ain't doing nothing. I think this one might end up being a bit tricky. Because I think we're going to have an async call. And I do think this is actually the kind of thing that like ChatGPT could literally just run the whole thing. Did it run? No, it's still. So we've definitely found the pattern is if you go from an F to a non-F, it runs everything. But if you go from a non-F to an F, it doesn't seem to rerun. Because again, that would have been very easy if you weren't paying close attention to think that, to give yourself a false positive. Think everything worked. Look, that thing got called 192 times in there. When we create this array from that, this gets called like crazy. Crazy. It's crazy, man. Mine. So it launched a whole new window. Let's see. Yeah, nothing got called in there. And it makes sense. Now the problem is this async. Now I genuinely think we could get ChatGPT just to write this for us. So we could just blindly just say, hey, can you write a Karma Jasmine unit test for this? What just happened? I don't know. Can you Karma Jasmine unit test? What? Okay, so it just gave me mine. So one thing you have to realize is that async has to be there. And that is because it returns a promise. That's what I think. It should generate. So precompile hello expect. That's pretty crazy. So before each service. Okay, so we already have that part. I think we can let's just copy these two and see what happens. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work or not. And then I don't even know if doing something like that's a good idea. But this is us getting just barely interacting with AI, trying to learn, trying to get the general idea. Because honestly, AI is dangerous. It's super, super dangerous. And it's a technology that is, I think, if you want to thrive in the future, in probably anything, you probably will not be able to get a college degree in the future if you can't do AI. Just won't happen. Now, I don't even know if college will even be if college will just be some weird thing that just barely exists in some strange thing like apprenticeships. There used to be like everyone did an apprenticeship. Now it's just kind of a weird thing that some places do to be cool, but like it's really not a thing anymore. I think college degrees may be on that same path where in 40 or 50 years, everyone will be like, oh, yeah, let's go get a college degree. It'll be funny. Like it won't even be like a thing. So anyways, I don't know, and I don't think I'll be here to experience it unless there's some kind of massive change in the way people survive. Okay, so that it ran. The unit tests ran. Let's see what our test coverage is. And we have 100 tests. Guys, we didn't have to even think. Just ask it, give it the function, and it just cut it. We did have to think a little bit because, we didn't need this stuff. This is a little bit different. It looks like it. I don't know why. I don't know if that would have worked. It would be without this testbed thing. Oh, wait. So they never even used a testbed at all. I don't know. So they just... So let's just see this. Do we need this? So that up there is the same. So that worked without even using the test bed. So I don't know if we should not use the test bed. I don't even have the vaguest idea what the implications of not using the test bed are. I can't think of any implications. It looks like we had no reason to use the test bed. It looks like this service could be tested completely outside of the Angular test bed. I don't know what that means. Apparently, at some point, it knew that the expected SHA-256 of hello would be this, and then we just checked it, so that was good. And then I don't know why we needed 2. So I'm very curious. Why do I need 2 tests? So let's comment one of these out and just see. So Okay, why do I need two tests? Two. Doesn't the first one suffice? I like that word suffice. I don't know that I've ever actually used it before in my life. Should return a 64 hex string. Get hash string for test string. Result to be 64. For known input. However, the second test adds a layer of defensive testing by the function behaves reasonably for other inputs, not just hello. Oh, okay, I see. So they're saying like we could have all like someone could maliciously, like a developer could maliciously just return that value always, and then it would be like it wouldn't actually test anything. But if they're going to be malicious, wouldn't they just do it? So they could just maliciously do both of them. You know, like it seems like if you wanted to actually, yeah, I don't see the point to the second one. I think the second one actually adds a layer of complexity or confuse, like forces you to think about other stuff that you probably shouldn't think about. So we did effectively use AI to probably save a bunch of time. I think that was less time than sort of going through the, oh, I got to do an async, blah, 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 blah. It just did it all for us. And I mean, we knew we were going to have to do this, but we didn't know exactly how to do it. So it does save cycles. And we already kind of understood how to do it. So there was no, like, we could have got through this, but it would have taken 25 minutes or something instead of 4 minutes. And if I was willing to just blindly accept it, it wouldn't have even been 4 minutes. So there, let's just make sure we're still at 100% on everything, and then recyclable service will be next. And I believe that will be another one that I can just give to ChatGPT to write for me. Although it looks like I might already be doing this one. Now let's see. Okay, so the theory is when I've went from less to more, that it automatically ran everything. Now from more to less seems to not. So let's just do that. Check the time, 8:43. That's good. And it doesn't look like it. Oh no, it did. See, this time it did. Last time it didn't. This time it did. Which is weird. What if I hit refresh now? Yeah, it looks like it probably is unit testing everything. Although, let's see. I know, Rat. Woo! So I think the only thing that'll be left is the visualization. So it looks like there's a good chance that we'll be able to finish that tomorrow. I don't think 6 minutes is quite enough, or 10 minutes is quite enough to. So it looks like, yeah, we're done with that already. So I had written unit tests for that. I wonder, I wouldn't even be surprised if we use ChatGPT. I have a vague memory of us using ChatGPT to figure that one out. So now that puts us at, let's go back to all files. Yeah, all that's left is visualization. We did, oh well. So now we'll get rid of this. Hit save. We already checked that. Let's go into visualization. Looks like there's only one service in there, which is nice. F describe. think we have to restart it. We will find out. No, it looks like we don't have to restart it, so I don't know. Yeah, so it looks like we have. Yeah, there's no way we'll get through this today. Um, so we have one unit test to go, and we are done with unit testing. So maybe I could finish this and start working on resize. Um, Resize, I think, will be really like well. Oh, now not really, because tomorrow I'll finish this, and then we'll just double check that uh, the Cypress tests still work. I will say that I think one thing we've proven, at least at this point, and we'll have to go a little farther, is that maintaining Cypress tests isn't nearly as complex and difficult as maintaining um, unit tests. But maybe we probably haven't really done enough UI changes to determine that. Because I mean, we haven't even like really done anything, so I guess that's not true. But we'll see. So tomorrow morning will be Saturday, so I have a little bit more time. I'll be working on this, knocking out these. I really do feel like there's a very good chance we'll be able to finish the unit tests on this tomorrow, and then at least run and double check that the Cypress test is still working. And then once that is done, we'll be able to start working on the resize, which then we can actually make a decent Cypress test that will be fun to watch. And I think it's probably going to be like tempting to let the Cypress test be kind of long, like have it be like a 15-second test or whatever. And then, but then, like, I think with time, that same test needs to be reduced down to like 3 seconds as we add more tests, or, we'll end up with like an hour-long suite. And I do think that is the Achilles heel of most end-to-end tests, is that they get to where they just take so long to run. But anyways, it is Friday. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Happy coding. Bye.